You testified yesterday that when you went to the hospital that you told them that you had injured your finger in an accordion door. You remember giving that testimony?
Yes, I do.
That's actually not true, is it? You actually told the hospital that you had cut it off with a kitchen knife. Isn't that right?
No, that's not true.
No, there was a text message where you got a text message from Mr. Depp.
Yes.
And he said he cut his finger, correct?
I think that's what it said, yes.
Okay.
I believe there was one of my team who might have said that to the doctor, but that was not my, those were not my words.
And the reference from the emergency room said that Mr. Depp had sliced his finger with a knife, correct?
Yes, that's what he told, because I was present for that. That's what he told the emergency room doctor.
Okay. So Mr. Depp told the emergency room doctor that he had cut his finger with a knife, correct?
Yes.
You actually told the hospital that you had cut it off with a kitchen knife. Isn't that right?
No, that's not true.
So what's going on here? Like, everyone's story is not matching, and Camille said that to believe Amber Heard, you have to believe all of his witnesses are lying, and that's simply not true. You can believe his witnesses and still think that Amber Heard is telling the truth. But with Johnny Depp, you do have to believe that his own witnesses are lying if you believe his story of what happened to his finger.
Where it says, thanks for seeing and treating this patient. You see that? And then right after that it said, he sustained an injury to his right middle finger tonight after accidentally cutting it with a kitchen knife. You see that?
I do see that.
And there's no mention of an accordion door in that document, is there?
I'll read it if you like, but that was I didn't sign my name to this.
And
that's not my statement to them. I used the accordion door.
That Mr. Depp had sliced his finger with a knife, correct?
Yes, that's what he told, because I was present for that. That's what he told the emergency room doctor.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't have to sign his name onto the record. Like, it's just clear what happened, and his own witness said that he heard him tell the doctor that he had an accident with the kitchen knife. That's the story he was going with. And it's fine for him to admit that. Like, if Johnny Depp was lying to protect Amber Heard and she caused the injury, it's fine to then admit to everyone that he was just simply lying to protect her. But the fact that he's denying that he even told the story makes him look very sus. Like, what is his reason to deny that he ever personally said those words when Dr. Kipper, who was there, says that he heard him tell that story, that he keeps saying that he chopped it off, that he cut his own finger. Dr. Kipper kept hearing Johnny Depp admit to that.
You testified yesterday that you told Dr. Kipper that Miss Heard had, in fact, been responsible for your finger injury. Do you remember giving that testimony?
Yes.
But in fact, in subsequent communications to Dr. Kipper, you referenced more than once that you chopped off your own finger to Dr. Kipper, correct?
I think the key word is chopped off my own finger. When you say to someone, I've chopped my finger off, that's just going straight to the fact. You don't get into, she did this, I did that, that. My finger's been chopped off.
I think that could make sense if it was a complete accident and nobody was to blame. But for this incident, it really does seem like Amber would have been at fault if it is the way he's saying it happened. And then after that, he's then saying that Amber walked over to him and put out a cigarette out on his face. That seems very evil and malicious. So I wouldn't ever forget to blame someone who did that kind of thing. And if you look at the example of Halle Berry and Robert Downey Jr., she always says that Robert Downey Jr. broke her arm. She never says that it's not like she broke her arm. She's always saying that he did it. You can accuse the person who did it, even if it's like, I just don't think that explanation makes a lot of sense. The way that he never linked it to Amber over all those conversations. He never said that she did it. He always said, I lost a finger, and then Amber's responding to him that it's not her fault that he lost his own finger, which is why it's hard to believe this story now. The fact that he's never blamed her until now.
Tell Amber in a recording that you mentioned the day I chopped my finger off. So let's listen to that.
Fight you're talking about? I don't know.
I'm talking about Australia, the day that
Now
I
we're
shot
talking
my
about
finger off.
Australia. Okay. Yes.
You hear that? And you said the day I chopped my finger off? Let's play it again. Let's
That'd
do it
be
again.
great, thank you.
Fight you're talking about? I don't know.
I'm talking about Australia, the day that I
Now we're
shot
talking
my
about
finger off.
Australia. Okay.
Are you sure that's
Yeah, let's do it one more time. 'cause
what
you
I'm
actually
saying?
don't.
Or is it the day that I got my finger chopped off?
No, you say the day that I chopped my finger off. So let's play it one more time because I think I left out the word that. It says the day that I chopped my finger off.
Fight you're talking about? I don't know.
I'm talking about Australia, the day that
Now
I
we're
shot
talking
my
about
finger off.
Australia. Okay.
I'm not so sure. In fact, earlier you had quoted Jerry Judge from the airplane tape as calling me an asshole. Wait till the asshole falls asleep. And I'm positive that those words never left his mouth because he would have, if I would have been making those noises in the bathroom, he would have ripped the hinges off.
Maybe they left his mouth when you were passed out, sir, respectfully.
Right, so the recording wasn't that clear, but I do kind of hear the day that I chopped my finger off. And Johnny Depp's version, the day that I got my finger chopped off, isn't right, because you can clearly tell that the word chopped came before the word finger. I'm not sure what everyone else is hearing, but I'm hearing the day that I chopped my finger off, personally. I don't know where he got the word got from. I don't hear the word got at all in what he's saying.
Aaron Borum, in October of 2015, you say, and I'll just try to read the relevant parts, sent huge text to Kipper, no response. He's an odd duck, old Kipper. This is the second time that he's held off giving me meds by blackmailing me into seeing him. The first time, I had just chopped my finger off. Oh well, I want off of the majority of the stuff anyway. I guess that's a new way to stop. X. Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
And Amber is not on that text exchange, correct?
Nope, she's not.
So he's saying the first time I had just chopped my finger off, and if you look at the x-ray of it, it's cut clean off. It's like it's completely severed. Like, that's bizarre for it to be a vodka bottle to chop it like that.
So in this text message from you to Dr. Kipper on March 19th, 2015, you text him, "My most sincere apologies to you, Doc. I understand your decision based on my immunity to do the right thing, and I truly do thank you for your concern. I must apologize for not having had the presence of mind to respect the man who has been the most kind and who has done more for me than anyone ever. There was no call for my spineless and base behavior toward you. I honestly understand the reasons for your concerns in your letter and can say to you now they no longer are an issue. Thank you for everything. I have chopped off my left middle finger as a reminder that I should never cut my finger off again. I love you, brother. Johnny."
It was a pathetic attempt at humor. My apologies.
This is significant because it wasn't the first time he joked about the alleged abuse that was happening. There's the text conversation that was read out where Johnny said, "The only reason we go for the throat is love." And Heard replies, "My throat is yours. You're going to be the death of me, but I don't care." And then Johnny replied, "I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury." This isn't a one-off. This finger joke that he made like there's been so many jokes about the alleged abuse. Amber also explained that the disco bloodbath was supposed to be in reference to this time where he allegedly backhanded her and a little bit of blood went on the wall, and he said that he called her a funny bitch because she linked it back to that incident. According to her, she also said that for the first incident of abuse where she's saying that he slapped her 3 times because she laughed at his Winona Forever tattoo that was changed to Wino Forever, and then she says that to apologize for what happened, he sent her a case of expensive wine. That, if that is true, that is another sick joke. One of Amber's witnesses, Io, testified that on their wedding day, Johnny said something like, "We're married now, I can punch her in the face and nobody can do anything about it." That's another dark joke about the alleged abuse. And it was the allegations that Amber was making were happening since before they got married. She accused him of kicking her on the plane, hitting her. She had accused him of that for a long time. So for him to joke about that kind of thing is very bizarre, and there seems to be a pattern of it. And even before Amber, like if you look at other text messages that were read out in the trial, the text where he's saying that he talked about smacking the ugly cunt around, that was about the nanny that he had that allegedly stole $5 from his 11-year-old son. He joked about hitting her, smacking her around. Another sick, dark joke. And in the Rolling Stone, there was an article where he joked about giving Kate Moss a severe beating. So there seems to be an established pattern of him making these strange jokes about attacking women. And we're not sure what that's about. So when it comes to the finger joke that he made, if he's now saying that Amber was the cause of it, it's bizarre that he wouldn't work in the vodka bottle to when he's making that joke, because there is a way you can joke about, a vodka bottle being thrown at you and that being the cause of your finger being lost. But he's never said the joke like that. Even in a joke, he has to say that he would chop it off, and that's very telling to me.
I went in to instruct one of the people with him to look for the tip of the finger, hoping that we would be able to put it back.
Was the tip of the finger found?
It was found.
Who found it?
I believe this man was their chef.
And do you know where he found it or where he told you he found it?
He said he found it in the kitchen area.
So I spoke to David Kipper, who was in the kitchen area, seemingly rummaging through a bin. He said that Mr. Depp had sustained an injury to his finger, one of his fingers, and he was looking for the fingertip that it said it had been severed.
Tip of Mr. Depp's finger was found in the kitchen, found on the floor of the kitchen in the home in Australia, correct?
Right.
Do you know where the kitchen was? Was it on what floor the kitchen was?
There was a downstairs below the kitchen area. I think I'm not really sure. I think those were bedrooms, but I'm not positive. So this would be on the main floor. The kitchen was on the main floor as you went into the home.
And that's where the tip of the finger was found, in the kitchen on the main floor?
Yes.
I left him in the kitchen. He said there was a lot more damage downstairs. So I went to, we split up. He left him in the kitchen. I went downstairs to search.
At some point, was Mr. Depp's fingertip found?
Yes,
Who found it?
I did.
And where did you find it?
Downstairs in the bar area, the the games room bar area. So I walked down the stairs. There was a bit of damage down the steps. That a big chunk had been taken out of the marble staircase. On my way down, remnants of what looked like a plant pot or something around it smashed. Walking down into the bar, I could see the damage that Dr. Kipper had told me about. A broken ping pong table sort of collapsed onto the floor, and lots of glass and broken glass and cans strewn around the bar area.
And where exactly was the finger in the bar area?
Directly below the bar. The bar was set up like a conventional bar that stuck out from a wall, and with a marble top. There's a big chunk out of that as well, like on the staircase. Directly at the end of the bar, there was a scrunched up piece of kitchen paper, if you like, tissue, with lots of blood around it, on it. So I thought that was probably a pretty good place to look. And it was within that scrunched up piece of paper on the tiled floor at the end of the bar, the base of the bar, by one of the bar stools.
So again, Johnny Depp's witnesses are telling completely different stories about what happened. It must just be confusion on the doctor's side about what's happening. But Ben King is claiming that he was the one who found it, and he's not the chef, and he's saying that he found it downstairs in the bar area. And Dr. Kipper said that the finger was found in the kitchen, which is on the main level. So I don't know who to believe here, but someone is telling the wrong story.
Well, I gathered it up in that kitchen paper and sort of took it upstairs. I might have shouted up to David Kipper, I found it. I'm not sure, but I walked back upstairs to the kitchen.
Like, this may be the reason why the doctor is confused as to what happened, because if he walked back up to the kitchen and said, "Hey, I found it," the doctor might think, oh, he probably found it in the kitchen, instead of thinking that he found it downstairs and walked back up. So maybe that's why he said what he said. So maybe they're both telling their version of the truth, of what they what they think the truth is. So that makes sense. So based on what Ben King is saying here, I would believe that the fingertip was found somewhere in the bar area. That was the site of the injury. I think that would make a lot of sense.
Was there blood around the broken glass?
There was blood around the home, as I had previously mentioned, but I didn't specifically see blood on glass.
And you didn't put that in any of your notes that a bottle was thrown at Mr. Depp, correct?
Correct.
Where did you see the broken glass?
In the kitchen area.
And that's where the part of the finger was found as well?
Yes.
And you said when you arrived at the house on March 8th, when you eventually found the finger, it was wrapped in paper, is that right?
Wrapped, it was loosely wrapped. The paper was open by that point. The blood had dried up and it was sitting in the sort of nest of this paper, yes.
So like someone had put the finger in a piece of paper?
I don't know. It was in that piece of paper.
It was in a piece of paper, okay. So, but again, like someone had wrapped it up, is that right?
I don't know. It was within that scrunched up piece of paper, kitchen paper, tissue.
So it was in kitchen paper, is that right?
Or tissue paper. It was white with a lot of blood on it.
So like a paper towel?
Like a piece of kitchen towel.
When you say kitchen towel, our language is made, even though we both speak English, I may say a little different. It's like a paper towel?
Yeah, like kitchen paper, kitchen towel. Yes,
okay.
Like a tissue.
And was there that sort of paper towel in the kitchen at the house at the time?
Yes, in both areas, the kitchen and the bar.
Again, this is a very important detail because someone wrapped it up, and we know that they spent hours and hours looking for the severed finger, and it's strange to think that somebody wrapped it up and they forgot where they put it. So it makes you wonder like what the story is. And again, with the confusion about the kitchen and the bar, because the doctor keeps saying that they found the finger in the kitchen, and Ben King specifically said that he found it and that he found it in the bar. So there's two different areas of the house, and there's confusion there. But he's saying that the kitchen towel is in both areas of the house. Like you'll find kitchen towels in the bar and in the kitchen. And what the confusion could be is that because he, as a British person, keeps saying kitchen towel, that could be the reason why the doctor keeps thinking that the finger was found in the kitchen. And the fact that they said that he had an accident with a kitchen knife is again why he might have confused it to thinking that the finger was lost in the kitchen. I don't know why he's saying that he saw broken glass in the kitchen, because the broken glass was mainly found in the bar area. Maybe there was some broken glass in the kitchen, I'm not sure. But it was mainly said to be in the bar area. Maybe the doctor is just confused. I'm very confused right now, personally. Again, the fact that it was found, the state that that fingertip was found was that it was wrapped up in tissue, is very significant. And the key question here is, like, who wrapped it up and then forgot about it?
Could have been you, even if you were blacked out and don't remember that, correct?
Objection, speculation.
I'll allow it if you can.
This was no blackout. I know you love the word. It was no blackout. It was shock. That's me in the emergency room. And I see a detail that I'd forgotten, which is Ms. Erd had taken my cigarette from the ashtray and stomped it out in my face here. This is after the finger had gone away, and she stubbed it out in my face and on my cheek.
I know that he hates the word, the blackout word. I know he hates that word, but sometimes you just have to call a spade a spade. This was a blackout. It really was. I don't like denying it. I don't believe. Just because he doesn't like that word doesn't mean it isn't an accurate description of what his state was.
Was there any property damage around the finger?
Yes, a fair bit. On the floor around the area, there were puddles of what smelt like alcohol to me. Seemed like several drinking glasses, a couple of bottles. One was a Stolichnaya vodka bottle. And at the end of the bar, as I said, there was a big chunk out of the bar itself, the bar marble top. At the end of the bar, there was plaster damage right at the end of the bar on the wall.
The only time I ever threw anything at you was when you fucking threw the cans at me in Australia.
There is this theory going around about what happened to his finger. Basically, there's this dent on the wall that looks like a glass could have been pushed into it to create the round shape of the dent. And then you can see blood splatters on either side. And they're thinking that that could have been the site of where he lost his fingertip, because you can see the blood splatter going in the direction. And what the theory is that maybe he took some glasses and was throwing them, and that when he did that, he smashed into the wall with it in a way, and that is why it would be called a crush injury. And I don't know exactly how it would work, but I think that this does make a little bit more sense in how it was only one finger that got severed completely, and why Johnny Depp continues to say that it's to do with glass. Like, he thinks that what happened to his finger had to do with throwing bottles and the glass. Like, maybe there is something to that. I'm not entirely sure. I think some people still think that he genuinely did chop it off with a knife. I don't think we'll ever know the answer, but it's an interesting theory.
Behind the bar, smashed and cracked mirror. There's a blue mirror that stretched that whole span of behind the bar. Lots of cans again behind the bar on the floor. Broken window at the end of the bar, and more plastered work damage on the wall above the sink. It was sort of a kitchenette bar, if you like, as well.
You mentioned a bottle of vodka. Was the vodka bottle intact?
No, nothing was really intact. The top of it, the top of a bottle was like, it had a label on it, which is how I knew it was a Stolichnaya bottle. It had that sort of squiggly S, sort of yellow top. There was a large chunk of a bottle, which I guess was the rest of that, and several other, lots of other broken glass around the area.
The only time I ever threw anything at you was when you fucking threw the cans at me in Australia.
When it comes to these tapes, I think it's very confusing to follow, because I think that Johnny does get confused, and when he's saying Australia, like the 5 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms, and saying that happened in Australia, I think that he's confused about that, and that's not the actual place where that happened. Amber disagrees with him almost every time he tries to say that. She's saying that he doesn't remember, and in this incident, in the US trial, he's accusing Amber throwing 2 bottles at him. He didn't mention the cans, like at what point did she throw those cans at him. So I think he's mixing up incidents. I think when he's saying that he threw something at her, maybe he's talking about the time in the island or some other incident where she threw something at him and then he threw something back. I don't know if we're talking about Australia or if he's got it jumbled up in his head. But it is very confusing to follow because of this. The problem comes when he continues to insist that he knew what he was doing, that he wasn't blacked out, when he wrote her those deranged notes in his own blood using his injured finger. That would hurt so much, like thinking about him doing that, and he's trying to tell people that he did that knowing what he was doing. This wasn't a blackout. And then the thing with the fingertip itself, like that he wrapped it up and then forgot where he put it. Wrapping it up tells you at what point would he stop. If he's saying that he had a nervous breakdown after she threw the vodka bottle at him, at what time did he stop and decide to pick up his severed finger, wrap it up in tissue, and then go on and in his shock start writing all these deranged notes in his own blood? It's very hard to believe his story when you think about it like that, in my opinion. And to all the people who are like, have you seen the trial? Have you watched the trial? The trial, it tells you everything you need to know. I don't believe any of those people watched the trial. With the conflicting testimony on Johnny Depp's side, is how have you seen the trial? I don't believe you. Liars all.
You know why I'm mad. Why? You know what you did. What did I do? You know what did I do?
You crushed that girl.